Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's Up With That, the show that brings you interesting people, places, cultures, and subcultures here in the South Bay, the San Francisco Bay Area, the state of California, and beyond. And tonight, what's up with the Crucible? What's up with creativity in the industrial arts? And how does one become a professional and creative fire performer? Well, recently I attended a local makers fair, and upon entering the fair, I came across this loud and thundering noise. Boom! Yes, looked over, there was a couple fire trucks, and out of those fire trucks were spouting huge fiery flames. And I thought, that's pretty cool, but that's kind of scary. Somebody must teach somebody how to do that. Well, tonight we have the Crucible. The Crucible has come to San Jose and to you, and we're going to learn a lot about all of what I just spoke and more as I welcome from the Crucible. Please welcome Cristina Canizares. Hello.
Hi.
What's up with that? She is from the Nikaya. See? The Nikaya. That's what I was just thinking.
Almost, I know.
Christy Alfieri. I'm not going to say anything. Mis Italiano es muy bueno. She is a youth and community manager, and we have Mike Brown. He is a youth volunteer. We're going to learn a lot tonight. And let's start off with, what is the Crucible?
What is the Crucible? The Crucible is a nonprofit arts organization located in Oakland, and it is a school that teaches people many different art forms, from welding to blacksmithing, glass blowing. Help me out here. This is. Why don't you take this one?
We teach adults and youth anything you can imagine: fire dancing, jewelry, foundry, woodworking.
Wow.
And in addition, we also have special events. We do twice a year, our annual fundraisers. One is our Fire Arts Festival, and the other is our anniversary event, which is in January.
Very cool stuff. So, what is your mission? What is your goal to
inspire creativity in everyone.
Absolutely.
In a nutshell.
And when the newbie comes in, okay, I'll play the newbie. I come in and I say, I'm interested in making a car out of bottle caps that's going to spew fire. What would you say?
You'd probably want to start with a metalworking class. And there are many different kinds of metalworking, but for something like that, certainly one of the welding classes would be handy to attach all the bottle caps together. And there are many different welding classes. They're one of the most popular classes at the Crucible.
So, the history of the Crucible, when did it begin?
The Crucible began in 1997, and it was founded by Michael Sturtz, who is the current executive director. And it was actually his vision to create a place where people could learn art and be creative that was not as formal or intimidating as most art schools, but that was really accessible, and where people, you know, you didn't have to like leave your day job and like, you know, become an artist.
And to be all snobby.
And to be all snobby.
Suddenly you're carrying around the easel.
So his idea was to create a place. It was a lot more comfortable and accessible, and also to be able to teach a lot of the art processes that aren't popular anymore. So like blacksmithing, which
is really cool, I think.
It's a very cool thing to do. I mean, to be able to like take metal and bend it and shape it and form it. And a lot of these arts, foundry arts, metal pouring, are becoming lost. They're just not used that much as industry moves out of the country. So to be able to use these in new and creative ways.
And so, what does the workspace look like? What does the environment look like? Because I would think it would have to be a pretty large place.
It is. It's
like a Target.
600 square feet. Yeah. It's an incredible space. It's huge.
So, okay, so I come in, you've kind of instructed me, or I've given you the idea, whatever. You know, I want to move on now. And
most of the students there who are there for a while, and you know, Mike can talk about his experience as a student. But that most of the students who are there for a while end up getting involved in various special projects.
Yeah, I would assume, I bet they do.
You know, I mean, after you've taken a bunch of different classes and you become part of the community, it's really, a lot of it is just about the people who you meet and the collaborations that you can become involved with, and the ideas just kind of are allowed to, you know, develop organically. And because of the big events that the Crucible does, and because of the community that surrounds it, it's a big community of people who come through either as students, as instructors, as performers, as volunteers, that it really becomes about, you know,
sort of like a subculture kind of thing.
It is, yeah. It's a big wacky family.
Well, I mean, I go to Burning Man every year. It's the same kind of thing, and I bet you have a lot of Burning Man people that come through there. And
to a certain extent, there is an overlap between the two communities. In the sense that the Bay Area has this incredibly fertile soil for creativity, and so, you know, definitely there is overlap between the Crucible community and the Burning Man community, and they've done events at the Crucible. Burning Man has, and
let's hope that the Bay Area continues. I think they will, you know, continue with the spirit. It's always a little difficult. Why did you come to the Crucible?
Well, when I was in the 6th grade, it was a woman that she was the youth manager at the time, and she came to my school and she had flyers and everything, and I wanted to check it out. So, and my house is right across the street from the Crucible, so I went over and I checked it out, and everybody was like, you know, hey, you know, what are you doing here? I like, you know, I came here and I wanted to check it out, you know, because I heard, you know, you could take different kinds of classes and everything for youth. And they're like, yeah, here's the papers, you know, just get signed out by your parents, and then, you know, this is when the classes are going on. And so I came, and then
what'd your parents say when you gave them the paper?
Yeah, my mom, she thinks people at Crucible are weird. I mean, like, not in that typical type of way, but like they're crazy.
Celebrate weirdness. It's a good thing. Okay.
Yeah, like the fire truck that shoots fire. Like he has a sticker on the front that says it was on fire when we got there.
That's clever stuff. Hey, don't knock it, you know?
Yeah, so my mom, you know, so like basically pretty much everybody at the Crucible, we're like are pyronetics, because we love to play with fire. That's like everything that you do at the Crucible except for wood, we use fire.
And then we have rocket cars.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the fire is pretty impressive. I must admit, when I saw it, it's the boom too. It's the boom. It's a whole combo. Okay, we're going to take a short break here, and we'll come back to talk about the Crucible and possibly how you can get involved and learn about fire. So stay tuned. Future. All right, that was some pretty cool stuff you just saw. That was from the Fire Arts Festival. The Fire Arts Festival, a big bunch of fire stuff. Makes me wonder, there must be some kind of safety precautions. Well, there would have to be, because like we were said, my mother would say, you're doing what? And actually, I was a fire dancer because I came from Polynesia. And my mother said the exact same thing. She said, you're doing what? I said, there's a skill to it. You have to learn it. But of course, as mothers are, God bless you, mother, they want to know that their child is not going to get burned up. So what kind of fire or safety precautions are in place? I know you have to follow Cal OSHA and all that stuff, but how do you teach safety precautions to, particularly to like children and stuff?
Like last year for the Fire Arts Festival, they had like the fire safety, and I actually went over there and I did the fire safety with them. because I wasn't actually going to be on the fire safety team, but they were showing me how like to put out fires, like if there were going to be a fire. Like using fire extinguishers, fire blankets, and everything, wearing the right protective gear and everything, so that you can keep yourself out of harm or anyone else.
That's the first thing we teach our students is just safety precautions, especially within the youth department. I mean, we take considered time to make sure that our young people understand the fun and also just the seriousness of using it. And it's amazing just the focus that comes with playing with fire. Yeah,
well, I would think you would be quite focused, you know.
Yeah, when I first came and I was interviewing, I was kind of shocked that 12-year-olds were allowed to weld and blacksmith and
use a blowtorch.
Use torches, and then you see it in action, and it absolutely makes sense because there's a certain amount of focus, and our instructors are really incredible and make sure that our young people are properly equipped and
old people too.
Old people too, of course.
As they step out and they're ready to go, they go to this thing that you've talked about, that you have a festival. What happens at the festival? Describe the ambiance of the festival. What would I expect to see?
Well, like something that would probably fascinate you is a snake, a skeleton of a snake that's really huge. I mean, like the length of it. Let's give
about
it
50 or 60 feet.
Yeah, even more than that. I mean, like the whole thing. They didn't even have the whole thing. Like the whole thing together is probably like football fields length.
Wow. And
every backbone, every part of the backbone, they had a propane tank, and each part shoots out fire. And there's like 3 keyboards, and every time you push a certain key, fire comes out a certain part of the backbone. And they had a head that moves around and everything. And then like in the middle of it, because the whole thing went into a spiral, and in the middle was an egg, and it was made by the Flaming Lotus Girls, which also makes sculptures for the Fire Arts Festival, and it was like really big and it was cool.
I like that.
That's a good example of some of the more impressive sculptures.
Yeah, they're like the top of the notch people.
And so you have an entire festival with.
Well, there are various different aspects of the festival. It takes place in a very large lot across the street from the Crucible. It's like 100,000 square feet. And it's basically like the Disneyland of fire.
Sounds awesome.
It is. It's really amazing. I mean, and to see something like that in an urban environment is incredible. You've got the BART train going by, and you've got like this huge vortex. It's like a tornado of fire that goes hundreds of feet up into the air, and
you have all these people driving by, like
people are going by in BART like
the
window.
Oh, hey, what's going on over there?
And people
helicopters from Crowd News or something.
Absolutely.
And we want the people to know that it's completely safe. You will not, absolutely will not catch on fire.
No, actually, I liked it at the Makers Faire because it was a little cold that day.
It's toasty.
It was nice and toasty.
Yeah, it will heat you up.
I like this fire truck. But it was also very cool.
Yeah, the other thing that we have at the Fire Arts Festival are performances. So there's a large stage, and in past years we've invited in many of the local performers who work with fire, like my company, the Nakaya, and many of the other companies from up and down California have come to perform. This year we're doing something a little bit different, a little bit more ambitious. We're actually putting on a theatrical event similar to other events that the Crucible has done in the past. We've done fire operas and fire ballets.
Fire opera, what's that?
A fire opera is taking a traditional opera with opera singers. We've worked with San Francisco Opera and other local companies of note. And we've worked with orchestras, and we stage it in the Crucible in an industrial setting using many of the arts, incorporating the arts that the Crucible teaches. So, for instance, we did the opera Dido and Aeneas, where in the end Dido kills herself with a spear. All operas end in somebody dying, of course. But we actually cast the spear at the beginning of the opera. So a crucible, which is actually the vehicle for holding molten metal, was flown in on a crane over the audience and poured on stage. And in January we did our first ballet. And we had a flaming chandelier with dancers dancing on the chandelier.
It's so cool.
And so we use many of these ideas, and we're doing a production of Homer's Odyssey with original music, and we've written the script for it, and it's going to have ballet dancers.
It's going to be like 12 hours long or something.
Oh no, it's only an hour and a half.
It's a long Odyssey.
It's a very edited version of the Odyssey. It's going to have a 3-story stage surrounded by metal sculptures, a Tesla coil, water effects, fire effects. It's going to be amazing. So this year is going to be particularly spectacular. We're really excited about it.
All right. Well, hold on. We're going to take another short break, and we'll be back with this fascinating group talking about some of the most fascinating stuff I've heard in a while. And you need to stay tuned because you might want to come and join the Crucible.
I don't really know what to expect. Probably lots of fire. Some really scary giant metal tools that look like they're for torturing or something.
It was awesome. I thought it was just cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a more mermaid form. As you see, I've already got my tail done. And right now, I'm gonna be working on the upper body. It's gonna be sad if this is gonna be our last day, but we have to, say goodbye.
All right, we're back here with the Crucible. We've seen some really incredible stuff. We've talked about some incredible stuff. I have one question. You know, we're living in a society now that is getting kind of dried up in the gas division, and you must spend a lot of money on gas.
Well, I'm happy you asked about that. The Crucible is actually very green conscious, and there's been a big emphasis on using recycled materials, and one of the projects that was just completed in this last year is installing a large solar array on the roof.
That's cool.
And so the Crucible actually produces more energy than it uses using that array, and is able to sell it back to PG&E. So
don't you love it?
Yeah. and the Crucible is also pioneering some work in biodiesel. In fact, Michael Sturtz, the founder, has built a biodiesel motorcycle, and we're going to Bonneville in September to try to set a world land speed record with the biodiesel motorcycle.
That is very
First one
cool.
ever.
So what classes have you taken, and what classes are you looking forward to taking at the Crucible?
I've taken every class at the Crucible except for casting and TIG welding, but I can TIG weld though, because I've done it like on separate times. You know, someone took their time and actually showed me how to do it, and I've done it. The class I plan on taking is casting, which is like the main thing that the Crucible does. That's where the Crucible gets their name, because a crucible is what they use when you cast. A crucible is basically like a giant metal cup, basically. Yeah, and you put metal in there. You put it inside of a furnace, and it melts the metal. You can cast with I'm not sure if you can do it with any metal, but I know you can do it with bronze, aluminums, iron, gold. Yeah, that's how. That's the best kind.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, silver,
titanium. You know.
Yeah. So
somebody has expensive taste.
So of those classes, how long does a class normally last?
A class, it can last from 1 day to a week, to 6 weeks, a month, or whatever. Or there's after school programs that goes on after school like the Cole Bench Project. There's a school right down the street from the Crucible. It's called Cole Middle School, and we got a group of boys, and I think there were girls. Were there girls?
Just boys.
Just boys. Yeah. This man's work. So
well,
all right, girls, are you gonna take that? You're gonna have to step up to the plate now.
We actually did a girls' welding class as well recently with Cole Middle School as well.
But all of the classes are co-ed, so you know. So they built a bench for their school so they can sit down, you know, chill out in the shade.
So, you know, with all of this working with fire and stuff, there's bound to be some things that, you know, come up, right? So what are some of the things that have come up? I don't want to say like a mishap, but something that just didn't quite go right.
I mentioned our fire ballet in January. And the flaming chandelier. Yeah, this is good.
This is gonna be a good one. I can already tell.
There's a
flaming. The flame.
Yeah. So what happened is there's this flaming chandelier, and 4 dancers would come out and they'd start to spin it, and then the crane would lift it slowly up into the air, where it would revolve beautifully above a very ornate ballroom dance that was going on the stage, and it was a propane-powered chandelier with good amount of fire. Opening night of an 8-night run, you know, opening night everyone gets a little excited, and the chandelier went up just a little bit too high and close to the ceiling. And this beautiful ballroom scene is happening. You've got 16 dancers on stage and 4 dancers swirling overhead and flame effects, and all of a sudden there's this strange mist that starts, and everyone's like, what is that?
Beautiful.
But it was quite lovely.
Beautiful.
People are wonderful.
Yeah, and it turns into this shower, and it's just beautiful until it becomes just this deluging downpour, and the audience is getting soaked, and the dancers are trying to keep dancing because they're really tough, you know, dancers. And they keep dancing, everyone's just soaked in this sort of black, brackish water because they set off the sprinkler system. And the tribute to the Crucible was that the show had to be stopped, and the sprinkler system emptied, and there's water everywhere. The entire audience, I mean, nobody left. They hung around for an hour and a half. The Oakland Fire Department were absolute knights in shining armor. They came out and helped change the sprinkler head, and everyone was clapping for the Oakland Fire Department, and they dried off the stage, and the show went right on. So it made really good headlines.
No, and it's great, and I could see myself in the audience thinking, wow, they've really thought of everything. Look at the fire and water, we're getting into the yin-yang, the whole place. It's all coming together.
It was lovely. It was beautiful until it really... It was,
but the fire dried off everybody. The flamethrowers and everybody was getting scared. Poosh! And then,
So, how about you? Can you think of any experience that you remember? Something that makes you chuckle, or?
I think one of the things I love best is we're actually in summer camp right now, and we have about 120 youth, and we have this class called Youth Rocket Car. Okay. And so young people carve balsa wood, and they make these rocket cars, and we set them off, and it's so exciting that all the adults gather around, and we've actually talked about doing an adult rocket car party. It's just so much fun. We set them off, and they just go shooting through the studio, and they explode, and people are clapping. It's really exciting.
There's nothing also like working with the youth when they've accomplished something. You know, when they've gone through that stage and they've accomplished something.
It's very gratifying. Yeah, we serve 1,500 young people a year.
I mean, that is a lot.
Absolutely.
Well, my hat's off to you. That's great. So how about you? What memory do you have that comes to mind when in your learning experiences at the Crucible, something that maybe didn't quite go right, or something that really went awesome?
Okay, something that went bad. But I don't want you guys to get scared or anything. This is only what happened to me. Okay. And it was so last year at the Fire Arts Festival, I was helping set up, and I had to put lights on top of the porta potties so that people can see when they go use the restroom.
But you got the lousy job.
Yes, and you know me. I'm only.
You can tell where this is going.
There are some jobs that are bad, okay, but
yes. And me, I'm only 5'2", so I can't reach up at the top. So I was putting the rope lights because it's like rope lights like the Christmas lights. So you know we're low budget, so it's a like sort of like low budget thing going on. So I had put it on. I was trying to put it on top, and I jumped up to try to get it. And it's like a latch, and it's like the latch on the door, so you can lock it. It's like a little thing that comes out. Then you put the latch on, then put the lock. When I jumped, that latch came out, and I came down, and it cut me right here in my stomach, and it hurt really bad. And everybody's like, "You need stitches?" I was like, "Nah, man, it's cool, it's cool." And then after I finished that, I went back to work, but it was hurting a lot.
But you were the porta potty man, and that's what counts, okay?
Yeah.
All right,
and ladies, I did not cry.
See, I'm telling you. And that's what you learn at the Crucible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we have just a few seconds left. So quickly, why should people go to the Crucible?
To learn something new, to be inspired, to meet really amazing, creative, fun people, and be part of a community that's I think, for everyone who's part of it, has been an extremely rewarding experience.
Why go to the Crucible? I think just to dream, just to be young at heart and to create your wildest dreams.
You know, and that's so important because it's so easy for anybody to get their dreams crushed, you know?
Absolutely.
And, you know, if you don't have your dreams, what do you have?
Well, I mean, I think it's just amazing. Michael created the Crucible with a $1,700 grant. I mean, I think that really, it's just kind of, that's the foundation of it. It's just, it started with a dream.
And Mike?
You learn to become a pyronetic psycho like all of us.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
like she lights herself on fire, and she also puts fire in her mouth and puts it out.
Yeah, that's a task. They do that where I come from too. You know. All right. Well, we've learned about as much as we're going to learn tonight. I want to learn more, don't you? There's only one way you're going to learn more, and that is to go to the Crucible or call the Crucible or go to one of their fairs and see how wonderful it is. I saw their stuff. Their stuff is awesome. You shouldn't miss out either. You should be there, okay? So, check it out, the Crucible. And to our audience, as always, if you're walking down the street and you see something interesting and you wonder to yourself, hey, what's up with that? Well, tune into our show, What's Up With That, and maybe you'll find exactly what you're looking for. We'll see you next week on What's Up With That. Good night, everybody.